That's the time I'm filming this segment now. Oh. Anyway guys, bit nervous because I haven't done a video like this now in ages, but we're doing an install video today, so let's crack on. First things first, I wanted to mention that this video is sponsored by Auxbeam. If you're not a long follower of the channel, Auxbeam have been quite supportive when it comes to things to do with lighting. Pretty much I've got the high beam and main beam using Auxbeam on the Type R, and we also got our Auxbeam headlights on my dad's Insignia as well, which that's quite a popular video in the Vauxhall community, believe it or not. Before we do get into this, I just want to mention as well, I do not personally work for Auxbeam, even though they are sponsoring this video. It does sound strange me saying that, but I do say that because a lot of people come to me with inquiries about their bulbs and if they'll fit their car and that kind of thing. Anything like that, please contact the guys themselves. They ship worldwide and they should be able to answer any questions you've got specifically for your model of car. Now what we're going to be upgrading light wise in this video is the fog light bulbs. Now we have done fog light bulbs before. Sorry, I've got a baby monitor and my child was reeling. He's good, he's good. Yeah, we've done the white LEDs before, which we did on a friend of mine, Paul's car. We've also got multicoloured LED ones on my car. Now the ones that are on that now are this type. They're just some cheap ones that I got off eBay pretty much, probably under like 10-20 quid. Now you'll have just seen there's just one in that packet because I had to buy a second packet because installing them, one of them just snapped it off and fell into the housing itself, so I've got a second pack. But the way they work is you've got LEDs of different colours on different panels all the way around this light. To make the colours, those light up individually or mixed of 2 or 3 colours that bounce around and obviously give off a certain colour. All of them are on together to make white, which you will see. It's kind of like a multicolour spectrum of colours to make white, and you kind of can still see the colours if you can see that on camera. But comes with a snazzy little remote. You can press the buttons for the colours, you get a multicoloured, that kind of thing. Pretty basic. Now Auxbeam, the ones that they've sent over, are a little bit different. Now as you can see from looking inside the box, these do look a little bit different to the others. If you look on the actual bulb light LEDs themselves, you've basically got a ring of different colours around the outside of this section here, and then a white light in the middle, which I'm guessing is so we can still have a pure white LED fog light if you wanted to in the middle filament, and then you've got the colours around the outside of that to mix and make the colours that way if you wanted to. So we'll see how much better quality that might be with these. They're also fan cooled like the headlights are that Auxbeam do. And then when it comes to the fitting, you've got the light, you've got a box here which says wireless on there with a little QR code. If you scan that QR code, it brings you to an app that you can download so that you can change the colours of these using your smartphone if you wanted to, rather than using a remote, which is tons better because you can just do it sat in the car. You don't have to point them at the lights. I think it does bring you to like a Chinese website if you scan this, so if you want to, it tells you the brand of the app. Then I just typed the app into the normal Play Store and the app was there ready to download and use for free, so there you go. Another box here, and then, which I'm guessing is more to do with power, you've got your standard, I think it is H11 fitment for the fog lights. There's also a red wire coming through here that stops there, which on the normal fog lights it doesn't have this, so we'll see how it works without using that. But in the box there's also extra red wire with connectors for that, and then on the other end is like bare wire. But like I said, I don't know why you'd need to use that personally, but we'll see if it's something that's required. Maybe it's something that you guys know about that I don't, because I'm not very electronically electronic technician minded, wire minded, I don't know. So let me know if you do know anything about that, guys, in the comments. Now when it comes to obviously installing these, it's getting a lot darker and a lot colder at night now, so visibility especially is becoming a problem. Now to help me out with this, Auxbeam have sent the maddest, the most monstrous of head torches. I mean, just look. my goodness. You're talking 7 lights, and the middle one's got like a lens on it that you can change the focus. And then you've got the rear where your battery pack is. That's rechargeable battery pack as well with 2 batteries in, which I will say it recommends in the instructions take the batteries out when you're not using this light. Which also has a little red light on the back that can have just constantly on or flashing. So like you could be, even if you're not just doing this on working on your car, you could be riding a bike using these. You can go out for walks, like if you're in the woods and things like that, out in your garden at night. It's just like the torch of all head torches. I'll show you what this is like when we're out working on the car, but if you are interested in anything that I'm showing you today, I'll put the links to the bulbs that we're using on the car and this head torch in the description so you guys can have a look yourselves, see if it's something you want to purchase. But yeah, like quality wise, like it's a big old chunky rig this on my head. Anyway, let's crack on. All the neighbours don't think I'm doing some kind of like stealthing Splinter Cell style. Right, might have told a bit of a porcupine. I've actually been able to, well I was going to use the ramp at work, but it's a bit of a kerfuffle getting the bars underneath, to be fair. So I've just jacked it up, got it on 2 jack stands. I'm going to do it in here because it is freezing at the minute and obviously pitch black. But I will show you the torch because it's been brilliant. I've been using it for other stuff. And I'll show you a good look at that later on. But I'll show you where we've got up to at the minute, getting the fog lights out. So there's a little knack with these. For the fog lights, I always get told, and I will pass it on to you, that you don't have to take all the bumper off, which I have done previously, to get to the fog lights to change the bulb. You can go through the wheel arch lining, which is still even just as fiddly, but there's 2 holes underneath that I'll show you. These 2 here in the bumper, and there's a 10mm that's underneath. If you get an extension that keeps this light in. Now if you undo that 10mm, take it out, which I use an extension and a ratchet, you can pop that out. Now one thing that is a bit of a myth, because everybody says that you can do this on both sides, you can't. I can do this on both sides, because on this side, when I put the induction kit in the HKS, I took out all the spare induction piping that goes all down underneath the bumper, around the wing and everything, for pretty much just weight loss, to be fair. There was loads of plastics. You can leave it in, but I took it all out. Now that actually blocks the holes on the passenger side, so you can't take it off that way in a standard FN2. If you've taken all that out, then you can do both sides. That's what I've found. So now I should just be able to take the extension. I've just used to take the bolt out. Give it a little tap. And that brings out your fog light. And it's just a case of twist, lock, anti-clockwise. Maybe I'll disconnect it first. There we go, now I can twist. Paul, just be careful, because like I said, the other one just broke off. So that's that out of there. And we've got his light. Now before I put it back into the light, like the fog light itself, I'm going to plug this in and see how it works, because like I mentioned, there's a little red lead here. I don't know where that goes yet. I'll leave that hanging for a second. I'll put the ignition on. Right, so that is with the ignition on. As you can see, it's really bright. I had to turn the plug around, so I put it in the wrong way. I can actually hear the fans whirring in that as well to keep it cool. So you've got white on both sides there as well. So if you pop that in here, just to see how that is. Oh my god, I can't even see. When it's that bright, that's the brightness. Jesus. So I will tidy all that up, but let's just put them gubbins inside for now and line it up. And you can see the difference between the whites on these colour changing lights. So that is the white, which actually looks like blue. That's on the cheaper ones that I got off eBay. That's the multi-mixing colour one. This is just the white on its own, compared. So you can see the difference there in the quality. That's because it's a single bulb. Bloody hell, fireworks. That's because it's a single bulb on its own, with its own, like cob LED light on both sides. So we'll see if we can do the colours now. So what I've done, I've tie wrapped in just 2 places where the cables are, there and there. I didn't want to tie wrap all the way around that, so there's still a little bit of air going between them in case something gets hot, but then that'll just keep it a little bit tidier when it's all the way back there behind the bumper. I'll show you what it's like with them both in, with the white, because it's really white and really bright, bang on compared to what the others were, but I can't seem to connect the app to the Bluetooth connection. Am I doing something wrong, or is it to do with this red wire? Maybe that needs power going to it as well, which may power the Bluetooth connectivity in this. I'll find out and I'll let you know. Right, so it's about a week and a half later. I've got the car jacked up on the front of the house, and I'm working out how to get these red wires wired in, which I've been speaking a lot with a car club that I'm in, was formerly JAP, which is now Outrun Car Club. If you want to go and have a look at that, they do have a Facebook page. But what's being discussed is I've got to get these red wires. They're going to be going from the fog lights into the cabin. There's a fuse box in the cabin, and I'm going to explain what we're going to do with that in a bit once we get them routed in there. So I've kind of like half mapped them out where I want the wire to be, just so I know for length wise, and then we'll make it tidier, putting it next to looms, tie wrapping it in, that kind of thing. The way it's going in is, if you look back there, just behind the engine itself, there is a big rubber bung with a wiring loom that goes through there. Now you can see that from the footwell. You can also see there's a front end of a screwdriver poking through there. Now obviously I've had to be very careful and make sure I don't damage any of the loom that's already there. But what I basically did is I've used a drill with a small masonry drill bit. It's probably different and better options for drill bits, but it's the only way I could reach into there. And I've drilled through slowly through to that. Then what I've done, when I've been up down in the footwell, is got the screwdriver, lined it up with the tip of the drill bit, and then push the screwdriver through, and the screwdriver's a little bit bigger. Now hopefully this might be a little bit of a hack here, because what I've done is I've put both ends of the wires, twisted them together, put them into this metal straw, kind of thing that you can get from like Boost, or you can probably buy them online. And what I'm going to try and do is pop it on the end of that screwdriver tip, just there, and hopefully I can push this through and that'll get the wires into the cabin, because I haven't disintegrated or taken away any of this rubber. I've just made a hole wide, so then when it goes through and I take these out, it's going to close shut again, airtight on the wire. Not going to be letting in any water or any moisture, fingers crossed. It's only a thin wire anyway, so it should be good. Okay, so that is the straw through the bung. It followed the screwdriver, just push the screwdriver out the other side. So if I can get the angle right, I do apologise, it's quite a big camera to do these kind of situations with. Let's see if I can find it. Here, look, that's it coming through the other side, and obviously the loom above there is absolutely fine, not being damaged at all. And there the wires ready for us to pull through and put them where we need to put them. Brilliant. Okay, so to get power to it, we're going to be using one of these little beauties, which is apparently called a fuse spur. So what it is we'll have both the red wires entwined together in there and then crimped, which this is a spare one, so I've already done this, so I'll just explain it for you now. And then it comes with a little fuse that you put into the top section there. In the bottom section, you put the fuse that was already in the fuse box in the place where you're going to be using this spur. So the way I've done it, just as a rough tester, this is your fuse board that's on the inside of the cabin here. I didn't even know there was one in here until recently. So the number that I'm going to be using is number 28 is the one I've chosen. The reason why I've chosen that one is that is the rear accessory socket, which is this one right here. Now the way I've tested that is I've got my little FM transmitter that I've been using to Bluetooth to a radio station. So you can use anything that you'd use in that kind of socket. I had that plugged in, it worked. I took the fuse out of that one, that number 28. This didn't work, so I knew that was the one for that fuse. Put it back in using the spur and everything, and it fires back up again and works. So we know that that's still getting power to it, and then we're also getting power to the colour changing feature on the light. Now I wanted to use that socket because it was always on when the ignition's on, so this function will always be functioning whilst I've got the keys in and the ignition's on. As you can see, the lights are on. Now on the app, if I go in here now, we've got both of them recognised, whereas before they weren't coming up, so they're my devices. Now the only problem at the minute is I'm changing colour and nothing's happening, which is strange. I've tried it with the engine running as well, so I'm going to get back in contact with Auxbeam and see what that is, and then I'll let you know. Right, so more time has actually passed, as you can tell from the fact that my hair has been growing continuously through this video. It needs cutting really badly, and I'm sorry I've been rambling like I always do in these videos rather than showing. But I need to just ramble a little bit more because I think I need your guys' help with this. Now, after speaking with the guys over at Auxbeam, we initially thought that it might be a problem with the app that I was using, because on the app information it only worked up to Android 10. My phone's on Android 11 at the minute. Just smacked my phone. Did you hear that click? Never do that again. But I do have an old phone that is on Android 10 and it was doing exactly the same thing. What else it was doing is when I turned the ignition off, car off, key out, everything, walk away from the car, all the colours then lit up all together with no white light. I had to unplug them for them to actually switch off and not drain the battery, which was strange. So I don't know what I'm meant to do. I've also tried using it on any of the spare open fuses that are on the fuse box. That hasn't worked. I've also tried using a fuse that's on a switch, like the side lights. So when I turn the side lights on, then that should send power to it. That didn't work. It keeps doing the same thing. The exact term that I got that was used by Auxbeam when I was asking about it with the red wire is that it needs to be connected to the positive electrode of the battery to control the RGB function. I've seen stuff about people where they've got like a little like loop connection that they can put onto their battery before the actual main positive connection goes on the battery, like goes on underneath first. But I didn't know whether that would be a bit of a messy thing to do when I'm trying to find a neater way of doing it. Wiring and the electronic side is something that I really struggle with, and I don't have any logic, never mind knowledge behind it. So if any of you know a way that I can wire that up and it work and it still be quite a neat job, then pop some ideas in the comments. I don't want to keep prolonging this video ages and ages when I don't know what I'm doing, and I didn't just want to bodge the job quickly to finish the video. So we'll conclude it in another video. But also, quick review of the mental head torch that came. Pros, loads of light functions, battery life's really good, really bright, great for looking around like in your shed, getting your tools out in the dark, engine bay, that kind of thing. Cons would be bulky, so it can get in the way, a bit weighty so it can fall off, but it is durable. I dropped it and it was fine, straight off my head. And you can't really lie on your back under the car with it because the battery pack's on the back. That's the only downfalls, but other than that, it's quite a bright, reliable, strong made head torch for using for things as well as working on your car. But they do other head torches on their website if you do want to have a look as well. They might be a bit more size appropriate if you want to say that. Go and have a look. Either way, I hope you did enjoy this video as much as we could get done with my Christmas pyjamas at the minute, as you can see. Mr. Snow It All, obviously not, because I don't know bugger all, especially about wiring. But if you can help me, please pop it in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel if you do want to see any more videos, or click that little bell button so it reminds you when a fresh video does come on. Especially if you're going to help me out in this video, I'll say who has helped me out and if it has worked. So thanks again for watching, and until next time guys, like you always say, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.